Hey everybody, welcome to the show. You're watching Untethered Live, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson. Won't you come with me tonight as we have a good time on some new stuff? I got a couple of things to share with you tonight, a couple of news things. I think you'll have a good time. And right off the bat, we got ourselves a sports update with Kevin Cox. The Rays are up 3, Baltimore's down 2. Go Rays! Hey Jake. It is bourbon 8:30. Is that like liquor time? Is that like beer 30? It's bourbon 8:30. I like it. Drink away, because the drunker you get, the more entertaining I will be. It's just the way it is. How are things going in the big FLA? There's a Caucasian Sasquatch. Suburban night, as he might be. Watch that movie. You know what I'm talking about. It's terrible. In the best way. Yeah, casino night. Oh, cool. Excellent. I always wish I could go with you guys. I ain't never been to a casino but once, and it was a truck stop casino, and all they had were Keno machines. It wasn't a real casino. I'd like to go with you one day. Hang out. Play some blackjack. Making that money. No, I'm just kidding. If you hit the big jackpot, though, don't forget about old Jake. I'm working hard for you over here. Never missed a sports update yet. Ain't gonna. We are headed out soon. Okay, well, bring me with you. You can listen to me in the car on the way and then do your thing. And I'll make sure to do what I'm going to do before you get there. I got a new video to show you guys. It's a sequel to the first one. Remember, the first one was called The Untethered Crew? This is Untethered Crew Part 2. It's an even bigger, even better movie. With half the budget. April is drunk. Oh, no. Well, why did you get her drunk? She ain't going to make no sense. If she's good and drunk, remind her that chocolate milk comes from brown cows and see what she does. But make sure she's good and sloshy drunk first. Hey, Caucasian Sasquatch, have you been getting your little stuff figured out on your OBS? Getting it all worked out? I know it is a pain and it is a big learning curve, but you'll get there. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just take it one step at a time and solve problems. You'll probably be solving problems for the next 2 weeks, but as soon as you get them all solved, it'll run smooth and do everything you need it to do. There are other things out there, such as Wirecast and Camtasia and several other ones that are all about exactly the same, but with varying levels of difficulty and varying levels of abilities. OBS is the best one on the market. Number one, and namely because it's free, and number two, because it is as user-friendly as it can be. I mean, this is not an easy thing to do, running a television show, but as far as difficult things are, it's pretty user-friendly. You convinced CJ of that? Well, I convinced April of that. She was not 3. She was 15 or 16. And it was hilarious. So anyway, as I was saying, you can try the other ones out if you want to. And there's even some browser-type websites that'll do that, like StreamYard. You can actually stream from StreamYards, but you can't keep up with it. There's no analytics and things like that. OBS is probably the best one. I have a Western slideshow for reading over. I'm working on ambient sounds now. I hear you, brother. Well, you get it done. And when you get it done, I want to be the first one to see it. So let me view it first. Yes, YouTube does have ambient sounds, and you can find it on Google search, whatever you're looking for. There are libraries of sound effects out there. Some of them you have to comb through and put, like I get mine in a video, like that has 1,000 sound effects on it. And then I'll pull that video into a video editor and go to the sound effect I want and cut it out and then remove the video from it. And then I've got that audio file that I can save separately. That's how I do it. Now, I know there's easier ways to do it, such as buying libraries that have each individual sound effect, but I don't need to do that because it only takes 10 minutes to go find what I'm looking for, cut it out, and put it in my video. Hey, there's a Randall Bustard. Back for some, are you? Well, today is a chill stream, so chill. We'll just have a good time and enjoy each other's company. That's what today's about. I will be reading an article later about Marxism, though. You might want to clutch your pearls for that one. But other than that, I think we'll have a good time. What are ambient sounds, Sasquatch? I'll answer for him. Ambient sounds are the sounds of a room or the sounds of the background. Like, say, if you're walking through a city and you hear sirens and jackhammers and people talking, those are ambient sounds. And that can go in any way you want to look at it. When you going to have one of us on as a guest? Let's chill. It's not going to happen, but I appreciate it. Not unless you will agree to certain terms, which I doubt you will. So those terms are, it's not a debate. If you want to have a conversation, we can have one. There will be no shouting over people and talking over people and things like that. I won't do it and you won't do it. If you want to be on my show, you will be here respectfully, as I would if I were on your show. I don't care what you believe, nor does anybody else. But if you want to have a decent conversation, we can do that. And maybe somebody can learn something from it. Ultimately, this is not about me, so it doesn't matter what I believe. What matters is, am I able to present evidence of things that people can learn from? And that's what I'm trying to do. No debate, that's right. See, you're doing it already. I know God's word's final. I'm a teacher of God's word. You don't need to remind me of that. And the fact that you think you do is why we won't probably ever come to an arrangement. On a serious note, I am worried about the military in Afghanistan. We need to pray for them. 13 killed yesterday. Yes, sir, we do. And I would like to think that everybody has them in their prayers nightly. That is a terrible thing that's happening over there. No, I don't care what you believe, Randall. No, I don't think John 3:4 or 8:34 is lying. Stop calling me a liar. I've never said any such a thing. I've never said he was a lie. You're wrong. You want to get banned? You're going to piss me off in a minute, and I'm going to ban you, and then I won't have to worry about you anymore. There you go judging me again. You have no idea what I care about. Stop saying things to try to elicit a response. It's not going to work. I'm above that. I never said that, Randall. I think you have a bad understanding of what the word saved means. Sack up and learn some scripture. And so, we're not going to play that game tonight. I told you already. This is a chill stream. You're not getting my blood pressure riled up. I don't need that. I do have a nice video to share with you if you would like to watch it. Let's wait for a couple more people to show up, and then I will play it. Let's see who's with us. Just Kevin and Sasquatch. Okay. Well, Diego will be along in a minute. He's not going to want to miss this podcast. It's his idea. Wasn't even me. Nope, it was me. Told you I'm not playing that game tonight. It's tiresome. And I don't like it when people call me a liar, especially when I haven't lied about anything. So, try to be friendly, and that's what you get. So how are you doing with your thing there, Sasquatch? Are you getting there? Are you feeling confident? Or are you feeling behind and underwater? That's how I felt the first 2 weeks I was doing this. But I got there. Now I'm pretty fluid at it. I still have to look some things up, though, every now and then. Especially when I'm trying to do something specific and I don't quite know how to visualize how it is done on this particular format. That's the hard part, is visualizing it. Once you get it, once you see how everything is laid out, it's a lot easier to put things together. But you got to kind of think about it like a web page, pages within pages within pages, and then little add-ons here and there. And once you can see it like that, then it's a lot easier to grasp. The only thing I don't like about it is I don't have 2 monitors. If I had 2 monitors, I could put a lot more things up. Right now, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces that I can put something and still have my monitor in the middle. The monitor of my face. But if I had a second screen, I could take all of these windows and put over there, and then I could just have a full screen here for a monitor, which is what I'm after. One of these days, I'll get it that way. Well, Jake, I'm learning a new operating system and OBS and net navigation through Code Copy. Well, I know you got a lot on your plate. You'll get there, though. Wow, Randall seems upset. Are you still seeing him, or is he just hidden from me? If you're still seeing him, I'll see what I can do about that. I'll have to break out the old band hammer. Band hammer! Upside is, I have no bad habits. Ah, liar. You're a liar, Sasquatch. You don't even believe the Bible. Well, if I can be of any service to you, let me know. And, I have no doubt you can figure it out by yourself, but it does make it faster when you can ask questions and get answers. And I've found 3 or 4 guys, and I'll be glad to give you the names of these guys on YouTube if you hadn't already found them. But there's 3 or 4 guys that I watch religiously because they've always got really good skinny on how things are done. And they come up with ideas that I didn't think about. So that's pretty cool. I watched us pull out of Vietnam, now Afghanistan. This is awful. I keep up with it on the BBC, the big black. Our news does not broadcast the truth. That's a fact, Jack. You're not going to get the truth from CNN or even Fox. Not these days. Ever since they privatized the news and made it about entertainment so that they could make money on it, That's when truth went out the window. In the old days, you couldn't even tell by listening to him what the political persuasion of the anchor was. He wasn't allowed to show you. They were stone-faced and they just read the truth. It ain't like that anymore. And much to our detriment, I think. I think it's a bad thing that that's that way. There's so few sources of actual truth anymore, it's hard to live in this world. Which is the main reason I began to do what I do. So that somebody, somewhere, is saying something that's true. It is really important to keep up with. Damn the F. Biden. Damn the F. Biden. I'm with you. It is important to keep up with, but it'll also drive you crazy and drive your blood pressure up. So you want to be careful of that. Don't let it be the only thing you think about. There's much more to life than all the sadness in the world. There's always been sadness in the world. There's always been conflict and devastation, and it always will be. So you can't let that rule your life. Be aware of it, keep up with it, say your prayers about it, but move on and do something positive with yourself. We are fortunate enough we won the lottery and that we were born here in a relatively conflict-free area. It's a good move. So be grateful of that. On a good note, April looks beautiful tonight. She always does, doesn't she? I got some pictures to prove it. And when she and Diego get here, I will play a video for you guys. Part 2 of the original docuseries Untethered Live Crew. It is bigger and better and more powerful and more explosions and action-packed sequel to the original. I am going to need an intro and an outro tutorial. I know you did the thirds and graphics animation. I went for source management and asset management. I don't know what you mean by that, but yes, I did do all of that stuff, and I can show you how to do it again. Basically, your intro and outro are just videos. You just make a video and then put that in its place. And I use a thing called Advanced Scene Switcher, which you can find up in Tools if you have the plugin installed. If not, go get it from that blue web page, the OBS forum. They have all this stuff. In fact, I would look for the top 5 or top 7 plugins that OBS uses and download all of them and install them. You'll probably end up using them eventually. But my Advanced Scene Switcher has automated everything. I go in and figured out how to put in the time and everything. I can show you how to do that. So when I click on, I showed you a picture of my scenes and sources. One of the things I have is Chill Stream Countdown. That's the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing that happens at the beginning. Once I click on that, the next 3 videos are automated. I don't have to do anything. It goes through that video, then it switches to the next video, which is my intro, and then it switches to the little stinger, which is the pre-intro to the video, little Untethered Live with Wilder Creek. And then, pow, it pops on my main channel, my main scene. It does all that by itself. I don't have to do any of it. And once you set it up, you can do it that way every time. And I have other things like my lower thirds, which are also automated. I don't have to do anything to make them happen, although I can if I want to. They seem to just pop up every so often, you know. You want to try to think ahead as much as possible and get as much done automatically as you can get done, because that's less you have to do in the moment while you're trying to put it on a show. So the more things you can automate, the better. So use and utilize Advanced Scene Switcher and other programs that do things for you. You can also, if you're into this sort of thing, I haven't began to play with it yet, but I'm aware of it. Through Stream Elements, you can have, like, anytime somebody hits subscribe, it'll pop up on your screen and show a little graphic or a little sound will pop up. You can make that happen. Or if anybody leaves you a tip or buys a t-shirt or something like that, it'll pop up on the screen automatically. You can get into those things. Those are called widgets, and you can find those on streamelements.com and just link it to your YouTube account, and then it'll do everything automatically when you live stream. You also have the option of doing videos that are not live streamed. By instead of hitting start stream, just hit record, and you can record a video, and then you can upload it. Apparently, there's some discrepancy between live streams and uploaded videos according to how the algorithm sees things, and some people say that doing live streams will not help your channel as far as propagating and all of that. The algorithm doesn't care if you live stream, is what I'm saying. You need to upload content to your channel. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't see how that would affect anything either way, because when I live stream, it saves it to my channel, and then it's just the same as if I uploaded that video. It's there. So I can't see where that makes any difference, but there are some people that say it does. Yep, I'm going to read some Western short stories from the 1920s. Cool. Maybe I'll send you a short story that I wrote that's a Western. Maybe you can read that one. I'm not finished with it yet, though. But I think reading some Western short stories might be fun, especially if you've got a good reading voice and you can put in the personalities and all, and the accents. Hey, there's a Diego. Glad to see you, buddy. I got a video just for you coming up shortly. Yay. All right. Just waiting on April. She gets here, we'll play the video. And also, I'm going to read an article or two tonight about Marxism and how it has affected our Western civilization. That should be interesting or boring to tears. Buenas noches, mi amigo Diego. There's April. Hey, darling. Y'all ready to watch a nice video? Take me to the little screen. This is a sequel to the first movie. Remember the first movie was called Untethered Live Crew? Well, this is the sequel. It's twice the budget, twice the action, twice the explosions, twice the star power. It is a sequel in every sense of the word. It is called Untethered Live Crew Part 2. It's 5 minutes long, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Here it goes. Those are my children if you're interested, and my mama. Size of that chicken. That's Mexico. Big family, Diego. Look at that. That's Mr. Mercer and his children. And a bird. That is Mexico right there. Thank you for watching. Here we go. All right. That was the main video. What'd you think? Did you guys enjoy that? Loving this. Thank you very much. Some fantastic videos sent in by the crew. Thank you guys, all who participated. If I didn't include your picture into this video, don't worry. I'll get you on the next one. Got a lot of pictures to go through, and they're kind of hard for me to get off the internet, so it's much better if you send them directly to me in a zip file or something. But when I got to get them off of Google Photos, it's really hard to get them. Got to download every video and photo I got uploaded up there, and that's really hard to do. A lot of space, and then I have to comb through them to find all the videos. It takes a long while. But anyway, that's together, and that's that video. I'll upload it to the channel later. Yes, it is April. Thank God it was dead. Talking about a scorpion, I guess. That's a real scorpion. Oh, yeah. April says Diego is cute. Well, he is cute. He's a strapping young man. He's the youngest of us all, I think. That means if we ever end up meeting in real life and go somewhere, none of the girls are going to stand a chance. Ain't nobody going to get no attention. It's all going to be Diego. That is Mexico right there, Jake. I saw it, and it's beautiful. And you took some great pictures. I might even use a couple of those pictures as backgrounds for later videos. Some of them are really nice. I mean, they were all really nice, but you know what I mean. Some of them are breathtaking. That is not at all how I pictured Mexico to look. Well, some of it, but I didn't expect to see quite so much green. The two dogs were my grandma's dogs. They were pretty little puppies. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of little dogs, but as far as little dogs go, those were quite nice. I'm a bulldog man. I like bulldogs. Not English bulldogs. Bulldogs, like liver nose pits. Pit bull. Big head, sharp teeth, muscles. The dogs were cute too. Beautiful family. Also, Diego. Yep, lots of family. What were y'all restoring a building there? Or is that somebody's house? That house has a courtyard in it. That's pretty interesting. April says, I love my little dog. Well, I would too, but I'd probably make a sandwich out of it. Yours as well. Thank you, sir. You got to see some pictures of my youngins. Most people don't get to see that, so that's special. And I think a couple of April's youngins were in there. And heading up the video was a Caucasian Sasquatch looking perplexed at the camera. It's quite interesting. Anyway, I enjoy making the videos and I enjoy sharing them with you, so keep them coming. Have you noticed that the emojis have changed on here? No, I haven't noticed because I don't use them. Let me take a look. I did get an update today, so that might be why. No, I can't access the emojis the way that you do. Thanks, Jake. I thought you would like the pictures. I did. And I appreciate you sending them in. And now a little bit later on, I'm going to read a couple articles about Marxism and the effect that it has had on our Western civilizations and our society. It's the only ones I have of your kids, Jake. And that was only part one, Jake. Okay. I'll send them ahead on. I'll make another video. No matter how many pictures y'all send me, I'll just keep making videos, or I might figure out other clever ways to use them. But they'll get seen, and we'll have a good time doing it. And I've been thinking about making some music myself to add over the videos so that I don't get copyright claims when I use already made music, which is supposed to be free. I got it for the free site, but last week I got a copyright claim even though I got the video from a free site. So you never know. I have a whole lot more to come your way soon. Well, bring it on. Squint, please. Bring it on. I love it. Good fan interaction. That's the way a podcast should be. I can't wait till people start sending me things in the mail. That's going to be fun. Random packages. Send silver. I'm just kidding. All right. Let's see what we can get into here. I'm first going to read an article about Marxism, and then I'm going to read an article that was suggested to me by Diego called Karl Marx Was Not a Good Person. And it'll delve into who Karl Marx was as a human being. And let's see how we go here. Marxism, a body of doctrine developed by Karl Marx and to a lesser extent by Friedrich Engels in the mid-19th century. It was originally consisted of three related ideas: of philosophical anthropology, a theory of history, and an economic and political program. There is also Marxism as it has been understood and practiced by the various socialist movements, particularly before 1914. Then there is Soviet Marxism, worked out by Vladimir Ilyich Lenin and modified by Joseph Stalin, under which the name of Marxism/Leninism, see Leninism if you're interested in that, became the doctrine of the communist parties set up after the Russia Revolution in 1917. Offshoots of this included Marxism, as interpreted by the anti-Stalinist Leon Trotsky and his followers, Mao Zedong's Chinese variant of Marxism slash Leninism, and of various Marxism in the developing world. That's where we are. Or actually, that's where Mexico is and all that, Canada. We are the developed world. They are the developing world. You could also call it first world and third world. There were also the post-war World War II non-dogmatic Marxism, that have modified Marx's thoughts with borrowing from modern philosophies, principally from those of Edmund Husserl and Martin Heidegger, but also from Sigmund Freud and others. Sigmund Freud was a Marxist. I didn't know that. Hey, Jake, do you like Matthew McConaughey? You mean Matthew McConaughey? I don't know how to spell his last name. McConaughey. That's Mcaunehey. McConaughey. The Thoughts of Karl Marx. Easy now. The written work of Marx cannot be reduced to a philosophy, much less a philosophical system. The whole of his work is a radical critique of philosophy, especially of G.W.F. Hegel's idealist system and the philosophies of the left and right post-Hegelians. I don't know who that is. Hegelians, whatever. It is not, however, a mere denial of those philosophies. Marx declared that philosophy must become reality. One could no longer be content with the interpretation of the world. One must be concerned with transforming it, which meant transforming both the world itself and human consciousness of itself. This in turn required a critique of expertise together with a critique of ideas. In fact, Marx believed that all knowledge involves a critique of ideas, not necessarily. He was not an empiricist. Rather, his work teems with concepts: appropriation, alienation, praxis, creative labor, value, and so on, that he had inherited from earlier philosophies and economists, including Hegel, Joan Fitch, Immanuel Kant, Adam Smith, David Ricardo, and John Stuart Mill. What uniquely characterizes the thought of Marx is that instead of making abstract affirmations about the whole group of problems such as human nature, knowledge, and matter, he examines each problem in its dynamic relation to the other end. Above all, he tries to relate to them historically, socially, politically, and economic realities. Historical materialism. In 1859, in the preface to his Zur Kritik die Politischen Ökonomie, that's Russian or German, one of the two, which means a contribution to the critique of political economy, Marx wrote that the hypothesis that had served him as the basis of his analysis of society could be briefly formulated as follows. In the social production that men carry on, they enter into definite relations that are indispensable and independent of their will. Relations of production, which correspond to a definite stage of development of their material forces of production. The sum total of these relations of production constitutes the economic structure of society, the real foundation on which rises a legal and political superstructure, and to those corresponding definite forms of social consciousness. The mode of production in material life determines the general character of the social, political, and intellectual processes of life. It is not the consciousness of men which determine their existence. It is, on the contrary, their social existence which determines their consciousness. I guess you could say that, but I don't know if I agree with that or not. Raised to the level of historical law, this hypothesis was subsequently called historical materialism. Marx applied it to capitalist society, both in Manifest der Kommunikation, Partie, however you say that, in 1848, the Communist Manifesto, and Das Kapital, Volume 1, 1867, Capital, and in other writings. Although Marx reflected upon his working hypothesis for many years, he did not formulate it in a very exact manner. In other words, he wasn't very clear about what he was trying to say. Different expressions served him for identical realities. If one takes the text literally, social reality is structured in the following way: introducing the Britannica Kids, an all-new kids encyclopedia bundle. Number 1. Underlying everything as the real basis of society is the economic structure. This structure includes A, the material forces of production, that is, the labor and means of production, and B, the overall relations of production, or the social and political arrangements that regulate production and distribution. Although Marx stated that there is a correspondence between the material forces of production and the indispensable relations of production, he never made himself clear on the nature of that correspondence, a fact that was to be the source of differing interpretations among his later followers. Mind if I explain what happens in some pictures that you saw? Explain ahead. John Mills and other individuals started the Enlightenment, which gave rise to Kant and Marx. Yes, that was deep, April. Did you hurt yourself? I think that's precious, Diego. I have a new name for Jen Psaki. Woohoo, I agree, Diego. What's your new name for her? Her name is Hen Psaki. In other words, go suck an egg, right? Number 2. Above the economic structure rises the superstructure, consisting of legal and political forms of social consciousness that correspond to the economic structure. Marx says nothing about the nature of this correspondence between ideological forms and economical structures, except that through the ideological forms, individuals become conscious of the conflict within the economic structure between the material forces of production and the existing relations of production expressed in the legal property relations. In other words, the sum total of the forces of production accessible to men determines the condition of society and is at the base of society. The social structure and the state issue continually from the life processes to definite individuals as they are in reality, that is, acting and materially producing the political relations that individuals establish among themselves are are dependent on material production, as are the legal relations. This foundation of the social on the economic is not an incidental point. It occurs It colors, I can barely read, sorry. It colors Marx's whole analysis. It is found in Das Kapital as well as in Die Deutsche Ideologie, written 1845 to 1846, the German ideology, and Ökonomisch Philosophisch Manuskripte aus dem Jahre 1844, the Economic and Philosophical Manuscripts of 1844, Analysis of Society. To go directly to the heart of the work of Marx, one must focus on his concrete program for humanity. This is just as important as understanding of Marx's Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital. Marx's interpretation of human nature begins with human need. Man, he wrote in the economic and philosophic manuscripts. Our country has lost credibility. Afghan will be Biden's Vietnam. Yes, it will. Indeed, April. The left obviously will distort this like they distort everything to defend their puppet in power. Liars, cheaters, and servants of Satan. Amen. Very powerful, Diego. Thank you. The reason that this article, which is going to bore us all to tears, is important is because our country is functioning in a Marxist way right now. And it's very necessary to understand what Marx taught in order to understand why people are doing what they're doing at this very moment, which seems to be out of left field and totally unnatural. Yet they're doing it. That was all Kevin's words. Yes, he is driving. Geez, I'm not that intelligent, LOL. I'm underestimating myself, and I suppose, but I can't stand talking about politics. Peeps need to keep up with it indeed. Yes, they do. I ain't much crazy about talking about politics either. However, like it or not, we have been thrust into a world that hangs on every word of politics, and if we're going to talk about anything, it probably needs to be about what's going on, which is political in nature. Or we could ignore it entirely and talk about things that don't matter. But we are in a world that is on the brink of war, both in the country and out of the country. So we probably need to understand why, which is why I'm reading these boring ass words. Like it or not, I know. Yeah. First of all, a natural being. As a natural being and a living natural being, he is empowered on the one hand with natural powers, vital powers. These powers exist in him and as aptitudes, instincts. On the other hand, as an objective, natural, physical, sensitive being, he is a suffering, dependent, and limited being. That is, the objects of his instincts exist outside of him, independent of him, but are the objects of his need, dispensable and essential for the realization and confirmation of his substantial powers. That's what Marx believed in a nutshell. Man is powerless to change his own circumstance. That's not true. Karl Marx was evil. The point of departure of human history is therefore living human beings who seek to satisfy certain primary needs. The first historical fact of this production of the means to satisfy these needs, this satisfaction in turn opens the way for new needs. Human activity is thus essentially a struggle with nature that must furnish the means of satisfaction to humans. Drink, food, clothing, the development of human powers, and then of human intellectual and artistic abilities. In this undertaking, people discover themselves as productive beings who humanize themselves through their labor. Furthermore, they humanize nature while they naturalize themselves. By their creative activity, by their labor, they realize their identity with the nature as they master it. while at the same time they achieve free consciousness, born of nature, but they become fully human by opposing it. None of this is true, by the way. This is just one man's crazy idea of what truth is. You're born human with all of your abilities intact. You may get better at them as you grow, but they were there to start with, or you wouldn't have them. Becoming aware in their struggles against nature of what separates them from it, they find the conditions of their fulfillment, of the realization of their true stature. The dawning of consciousness is inseparable from struggle. By appropriating all of the creative energies, they discover that all that is called history is nothing else than the process of creating man through human labor, not true, and becoming of nature for man. Man has thus evident and irrefutable proof of his own creation by himself, not true. Understood in this universal dimension, human activity reveals that for man, man is the supreme being, also not true. It is thus vain to speak of God, creation, and metaphysical problems fully naturalized. Fully naturalized humans are sufficient unto themselves. They recapture the fullness of humanity in its full liberty, which means freedom. These people are trying to say that man himself is God, and that is incorrect. That's a bad way to think. Now you understand the root of the problem with Marxism is that he thinks he's God, which means he thinks he has godlike power. And what would ensue from that is obvious. Living in a capitalist society, however, the individual is not truly free. He is an alienated being. He is not at home in his world. The idea of alienation, which Marx takes from Hegel and Ludwig Feuerbach, plays a fundamental role in the whole of his writing work, starting with the writings of his youth and continuing through Das Kapital. In the economic and philosophic manuscripts, the alienation of laborers is seen to spring from the fact that the more the worker produces, the less he has to consume. Not true. And the more value he creates, the more devalues himself. Also not true. Because his product and his labor are estranged from him. The life of the worker depends on the things that he has created, but that are not his, so that instead of finding his rightful existence through his labor, he loses it to this world of things that are external to him. No work, no pay. Under these conditions, labor denies the fullness of concrete humanity. The generic being, Gattungswesen, that's German, the generic being of man means of his individual existence, nature, his body, his spiritual essence becomes alien to him. Man is made alien to man. When carried to its highest stage of development, private property becomes the product of alienated labor, the means by which labor alienates itself, and the realization of this alienation. It is also, at the same time, the tangible material expression of alienated human life. This guy has a very nihilistic view on humanity, none of which is correct, but that's what he believed, that's what he wrote about, and that is what all of our leaders seem to be living under the assumption of as we speak. Although there is no evidence that Marx ever disclaimed this anthropological analysis of alienated labor, starting with the German ideology, the historical, social, and economical cause of this alienation of labor are given increasing emphasis, especially in Das Kapital. Alienated labor is seen as the consequence of market product. No. The division of labor and the division of society into antagonistic classes. As producers in society, workers create goods only by their labor. These goods are exchangeable. Their value is the average amount of social labor spent to produce them. So it's saying that you produce, and what it costs to produce is what you charge for the thing you're producing, which in turn pays for itself. And also not true. There's like a 3.5% markup on everything for a reason. The alienation of the worker takes on its full dimension in that system of market production in which part of the value of the goods produced by the worker is taken away from him and transformed into surplus value, which the capitalist privately appropriates. Market production also intensifies the alienation of labor by encouraging specialization, piecework, and the setting up of large enterprises. Thus, the labor power of the worker is used along with that of others in a combination whose significance he is ignorant of. In other words, it's compartmentalized. He has no idea what the other guys are doing or why they're doing it. He's just focusing on his thing. Both individually and societally, and thus losing their quality as a human product. The product of labor becomes fetishes, that is, alien and oppressive realities to which both the individual who possesses them privately and the individual who is deprived of them submit themselves. In the market economy, this submission to things is obscured by the fact that the exchange of goods is expressed in money. This is like a backwards and upside down way of looking at the world at large. This fundamental economic alienation is accomplished by secondary political ideological alienations, which offer a distorted representation of and an illusionary justification of the world in which the relations of individuals with one another are also distorted. The ideas that person forms are closely bound up with their material activity and their material relations. The act of making representations of thinking, the spiritual intercourse of men, seem to be the direct emanation of their material relations. This is true of all human activity, political, intellectual, or spiritual. Men produce their representations and their ideas, but it is as living men, men acting as they are determined by a defined development of their powers of production. Law, morality, metaphysics, and religion do not have a history of their own. Wrong, they most certainly do. Men developing their natural production modified together with their real existence in their ways of thinking and products of their ways of thinking. In other words, it is not consciousness which determines existence, it's existence which determines consciousness. I think that consciousness is separate from existence, it's its own thing. What did I miss? Hang on. Peeps need to keep up with it indeed. That was my words. Like it or not, I know it's horrific. No, this matters. Can't ignore it. That's right. Israel goes to war is serious. That's right. when Israel goes to war is serious. That's right. Karl Marx was evil. Yes, he was. He was obsessed with the devil. Wow. And so it begins. I'm scared, but I'm not going to give up ever. No need to be scared. God has your back. He flushed all the hard work American credibility down the toilet. Such a potty shame. Yep. Such a pity. Shame. So sad. Well, Marxism is a bad thing. No matter how you look at it, we're just reading about what Marx thought of other people right now and how he viewed humanity. And it's very grim and very nihilistic and very much Prince of the Air type stuff. We're not weak, damn it. He's making us look weak. Biden is making us look weak. That's correct. If Trump would have been in office, none of this would have ever happened. In Burgess capitalist society, the individual is divided into political citizen and economic actor. This duality represents his political alienation, which is further intensified by the functioning of the Burgess state. From this study of society at the beginning of the 19th century, Marx came to see the state as the instrument through which the propertied class domination over other classes. That's people who own property. That's setting up a class system, which we've tried to avoid in this country, but seems that we have fell headfirst into it now. We seem to be operating as a class system now, but we didn't always act that way. That's just further proof that the left has gone completely crazy because they have instituted this class system. That's right, Jake. Woohoo, bring Trump back, dadgummit. Know why Karl Marx called religion the opium of the people and his dreams of communist revolution? Know why Karl Marx called religion the opium of the people and dreamt of the communist revolution? I read that twice because it's written twice. Learn about Karl Marx's opposition to religion. Open University, a Britannica publishing partner. Hang on, I skipped my place. Ideological alienation for Marx takes different forms, appearing in economic, philosophical, and legal theories. Marx understood a lengthy critique of the first Das Kapital, of the second in the German ideology. But ideological alienation expresses itself supremely in religion, taking up the ideas about religion that were current in left post Hegelian circles. I don't know who Hegelian is, but he's one of the guys that believed religion was bad. Together with the thought of Feuerbach, Marx considered religion to be a product of human consciousness. It is a reflection of the situations of a person who either has not conquered himself or has already lost himself again. The individual in the world of private property. It is opium for the people. Unlike Feuerbach, Marx believed that religion would disappear only with changes in society. The analysis of the economy. Yeah, well, religion won't disappear because it's not created by man. It was thrust upon man, and man struggles to understand it, but it was not created by him. Sounds like shapeshifters. Ooh, that's deep. Wow. Now he's making us look like pansies. We stood up for our country. Yes, we did. He's making himself look like a pansy. He's not making us look bad at all. Because if push comes to shove, we'll stand up and handle it like we always have. It's just the ramblings, the mad ramblings of our glorious leader that seems to be causing all the trouble and the rift in society as we speak. My bud's died, and we are at the casino. Night, brother. Night, Kev. Have a good night. Win big. Well, I guess that's where we're going to stop for tonight. I'll pick up on this later. We'll read more of it Wednesday. It's a pretty in-depth article, and I'm about halfway through it as we speak. And then I've got a whole nother article about Marx himself, which is the article that Diego recommended us. It's not quite as long. True, says April. That's enough for one night. I hope you enjoyed the read. I know it was a little boring, but it at the very least may have been informative. Give you a better understanding of thy enemy. Know thy enemy, says Sun Tzu. Listening to April's phone. Love you true, Jake. Well, I love you too, sweetheart. Hope y'all have a good time tonight. Win big money, send money. Hey, folks, if you're just joining us tonight, won't you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be here. Smash that like button like it owes you money. God knows it owes me some. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions and not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, concede. You concede. As long as you're thinking critically, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from your brain. And if you like what I'm doing and you'd like to support the cause or help me keep the lights on, won't you take a moment, please, and go to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing for me. It's a blessing for you, too. God notices these things. We live in a reciprocal universe. And with that, if you want to put a little kibble in my bowl, little kibbles and bits, all you got to do is...
BJ, now I lay me down to sleep.
Yeah.
Pray the Lord my soul to keep.
Making bits. Kibbles and bits.
Before I wake.
Oh,
BJ,
I've been a good dog.
my best friend, right through it all. BJ,
That's right. My own theme song.
if I die before I wake.
Jake. Put a little kibble and bits in the bowl. Thank you very much. All right. Good night. Love you all. God bless you so much. God bless you too, sweetheart. Have fun tonight. Enjoy yourselves. And we'll pick up where we left off on Wednesday. As of tonight, I think we're about done with the article. Caucasian Sasquatch says, good job, bro. Well, that's kind of a hard read. I don't believe anything I was reading, and yet I had to read it. So, know thy enemy. That's what Sun Tzu said, and that's what I'm trying to do. Understand why we look like such fools on the world stage. Because of our glorious leader who is doing a bang-up job at losing the country. That being said, make sure that everybody takes a moment and prays for those over in Afghanistan right now. They are in a world of trouble, and they need all the prayer they can get. So, please, 1 second's all it takes. Just say a little prayer. Ask for God's hand to be on those people, and ask that they get brought home safely, and that the ones that don't need to be here don't end up here. Because we won't have a free country for very long if we start letting in all these crazy ideologues who will quickly and swiftly turn our country into their country, and it will not be a good place anymore. You have to support what you love or it goes away. That goes for countries too. Not just podcasts. It goes for countries too. If you don't back up what you believe in, it disappears from among you. And that's the end of my political rant for the evening. Anything anybody else wants to discuss before I head on down the road? We got about 10 minutes left. Lay it on me. I got a little country show I'm doing tomorrow night. Gonna go play guitar for a country band. The last job I did was a funk and Motown band. Talk about polar opposites. This time around, it's gonna be twangy. A lot of old country. That's all right. I can do it all. I'll play Metallica. You pay me enough. I'll put my hat on backwards, pop in a couple of gold teeth, and go to rapping if the money's right. I don't care. I am a song slut. I will play anything for money. Cool. Yes, sir. I'll try to take some video. At the very least, I'll take some pictures. We'll see what happens. It's a gig for a motorcycle club, I think. I'm not real sure what it is, but I think it's a motorcycle club's anniversary party. Either way, it's going to be a fun little gig. Hoping my voice will hold out. I've been having a little trouble this week. As you've heard, I'm a little hoarse. Doesn't seem to be something I can count on these days, my voice. I had to come up with something new to do, thus the podcast, because can't bank on my voice anymore, because I never know when I'm going to have it or when I'm not. And you don't want to be the only singer on stage when you have no voice. Doesn't make for a fun night. Lots of sweating bullets trying to get through the evening. Lots of unhappy fans. Johnny Cash experienced something like that one time. He ended up giving everybody's money back because he butchered the show with his hoarse voice. Of course, his was due to drug use. Mine's due to old age. Smoking. Caucasian Sasquatch, is there anything you want to discuss metaphysically while I'm here? While you got my attention? Now that April and Kevin's gone, it's just me, you, and Diego, I think. Maybe one other person. Somebody's watching. Nothing? Something? Did you find your papers for your little documentary that you're working on? I know you told me you had lost your folder, but you thought somebody you knew might have it. Hoping you find that, because I'm interested, and several other people have expressed interest in hearing what you got to say, too. I know you're going to put it up on your channel, but I'll put it up on mine, too, if you make something of good content. I'll back you up. I'll support you. Because I'm that kind of cuz. Hello, mother. Hello, father. Camp is good here in Hiawatha. Coke is good and crack is better. I'm so stoned I can barely write this letter. Boy, that's from way back. That's something they used to say when I was a kid. I'm still hoping my sister comes through. Well, maybe you won't have to redo all that research. That would suck if you did. Have any questions about the live streaming software or anything I can help you with before I go? I got to get lots of sleep tonight because I'm going to be up all night tomorrow night. Flipping my hours around and then flipping them back around to go back to work on the Mondays. Fun. Plus a podcast on Monday and Sunday. But that money, got to get that money. But maybe your sister has your folder. That would be nice if she did. All right. I reckon I'm going to call it a night. watch some Tucker Carlson, and go to bed. Like I said, I got to get up early tomorrow and work all night long. Because doing a show, you only get to see 4 hours of me jamming out. But 4 hours before and 4 hours after, I'm working. Plus the preparation to do the job. I have to go through and learn all my lyrics and make sure I know all the songs and all that stuff. So call it 16 hours of work for one 4-hour show. That's a lot. Most people don't realize that. When they go see a band and they look like they're just aloof and having a good time, oh, they just jammed a couple hours. They don't have a real job. They work harder than you do, I promise. There's more to playing music than just playing music. That was on a t-shirt I saw one time. It was on a drummer. And I said, I have got to have that t-shirt because it is so true. You don't even know what all's involved. There's a whole lot more to playing music than just playing music. That's the least that we do that for free. It's all the other stuff we get paid for. We play for free. All right. It is 9:47, and I'm going to call it a short night because that was an exhausting article read. And I imagine everybody's brain is turned to mayonnaise, as it were, so I'm just going to call it. And it's Friday night. You can chill out and just go. Joke Biden out. Give us Trump back. Amen, Diego. Diego, you got any questions about what we read tonight, or are you ready for your part of the article to be read? Good night, bro. Good night, bro. I thought you was gone, Diego. Hadn't heard from you in a minute. All right. I love you guys with all my heart. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourselves and each other. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do, and stick it to the man every chance you get. And with that, have a great night, and thank you for watching. I'll see you Sunday with some Bible study.